hit the owl as usual, and then head straight on to Swamp. Equip Deku Mask, put it on, and now we're going to be trying for a bomb drop in this first patch of grass here. If you don't get it, that's okay. It's just faster if you can get one. So I hope we can. It's a 10% chance per each bush. There we go. Nice. So try for that first bush. If you don't, then just keep going. Don't worry about it. There's an alternate strat you can do. But hopefully we get our bombs, because that will help speed up the Deku Palace. Somewhere along the way, you're going to want to play Inverted Song of Time. Exactly where you play this depends on your skill level and how you want to time in-game time coming up ahead for the alien segment. But it should be somewhere around this point, either before entering Mystery Woods or at the latest, like right when you get Red Potion. But it's very important that you do not forget about this invert, because we do not want to have to play another Song of Time to lose stuff. In terms of the route that we're using, it is independent that we get to Epona's Song day one without needing that extra Song of Time. When you make it to the Witch here, this is the important part about not having equipped bombs earlier. Now, if you do equip bombs on the clock tower, you do save a pause. However, if you don't do that, then you can talk to this witch and use the blank C button to skip through this text a little faster, just like I showed in the beginning portion. And then you can use that pause up ahead to buffer octo skip, which is coming up. Octo skip can be a little bit precise and difficult, especially when you're first starting out. So I would recommend at first, until you get used to it, just don't equip bombs, use the blank C button there, and then buffer this upcoming trick. Once you get the red potion from the witch and then leave the witch hut, this is where things start to get different. Instead of going to give the potion to the witch in the woods and then take the boat ride, we're just going to go straight to where the big Octorok is, and we're going to go past him. Now it can be a little bit awkward, so it'll be difficult for you when you first start out, but once you understand how it works, it's not too bad. It's pretty consistent. There's just a lot of moving parts to it, and you have to understand exactly what's going on. So, go over to here, and then hop onto this lily pad. So you need to position Deku Link in a very specific spot. So look at his left foot here, and you want to line it up with the little indent in the lily pad there. This is a good spot. Then once you get onto that spot, you'll want to turn around and bubble aim. Do not do C-up aiming. C-up aiming is not consistent for this trick. Make sure you press the B button and do bubble aiming. So, you want to line your camera angle about right here-ish. And now what comes into play is the lily pad movement. So notice how the lily pad is moving back and forth. This is very, very important, because what you want to do, what you're trying to do is that you need to take off Deku Mask and then roll jump off of this lily pad and grab the ledge up there before this guy hits you. The way this works is that roll invincibility in this game will actually prevent you from being grabbed by him until the invincibility frames are over. So you're trying to get on the very edge of this lily pad and jump through his range and grab the ledge before he can grab you. So what that looks like is something like this. Like that. Now this can be a little difficult to do. I want to show several cases of this because there's a lot that can happen, a lot that can go wrong. So, say that you are standing right here. What you're aiming for is you're aiming for the middle of the scene here, that rock, to overlap the top of the clock here. That's the visual cue that I use, and it's pretty consistent. But say that you aim a little bit too far, like this, and then you miss, or that happens. That could also happen as well. So, you have to swim back to the log over here to climb out of the water, and then have to go try again. That is one of the fail cases. Well, actually, that is the fail case. There's another case that looks like it might be a fail, but it actually does work. If I can get the right position, please. Thank you. Okay. Again, stand on this spot here on the lily pad with the Link's left foot on that little indent, like so. Turn around, aim, And I'm going to aim a little bit more right this time, because what I'm going to do is fail it, first of all. Yes, that is exactly what I was trying to do, except it wasn't. Okay, try again. So the important part about this roll here is that you have only 2 frames to do this roll. If you're in a bad spot, it's only 1 frame, actually. But ideally, your position will put you in a spot where you have 2 frames to roll. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier with wanting to buffer this trick. This can be a little bit difficult to do until you understand how it works. So what I do recommend you do is line this up, and then right here, once you take off Deku, buffer. And then equip bombs on that buffer, and buffer the roll like that. That makes it a lot easier and a lot more consistent if you're having trouble with that. Of course, if you don't want to buffer it and you want to go for the maximum time save, you would have equipped bombs earlier with Ocarina to save that pause. So, there's one more case I need to cover here, and that's if you grab the ledge, but the Octorok gets you before you land on top of the ledge. So let's see if I can get that to happen here. If I aim a little bit further to the right than usual, like this, and roll like that. If that happens, you're okay. It looks like you might have failed, but you actually didn't. Swim over here, turn the camera around so you can get the lily pad to respawn. Climb onto it, and then immediately turn Deku. You will Deku Void up here, back onto the ledge, and then you can just go right past him. Now, if you get the fast version like that, what you'll want to do is turn Deku, drop off into the water, and then Void here, and then you can go right past him. So the way this works is that, just like with roll invincibility, when you drown in the water as Deku, you get a couple of seconds where your invincibility allows you to go past the Octorok here. So that's why that works. Now, the worst part about this trick is the fact that the lily pad is moving here, and there are certain patterns that are a lot more difficult to understand about when you want to actually roll off the thing. So right here it's going left and right, so it's pretty easy to figure out, okay, you want to go now. But if it's going up and down like this makes it a lot more difficult. But it usually changes, and it's usually not like straight up and down. But if it is going straight up and down, it still works. It's just a little bit more awkward to figure out. Before we move on, I want to show a few fail cases so you can get a better understanding for how this trick works. So I'm standing in the right spot, and I'm aiming right at this spot. But let's say I go a little bit too early, so go like right now. This is going to be too early, and this is going to miss. Like that. So if that happens, then that means you either went too early or your angle is wrong. If your position is slightly off like this, and you try to go for it, then you'll miss as well. Or if you're too far forward like this, then you're not going to have enough frames to do the roll. So I'm going to get grabbed like that. That's why it's extremely important to make sure you're in the right spot. Now, if your position is good, and your angle is good, but you just go too late like this, then that's probably going to happen. That is okay. If you want to err on one side, definitely go later, because that was definitely way late, but I still grabbed it and got this version where I can just grab the lily pad, put on Deku, and then Void back up there. So definitely err toward the side of going late if you're unsure. One more thing I want to mention before we move on. I said earlier how there's only 2 frames to take off human and do this roll. And the reason for that is because on the Japanese version, whenever you put on or take off a mask, Link automatically faces back toward the camera. This was changed in the English version where he keeps his facing angle. So if you were to do this trick on English, it would give you a little bit more lenience. So to simulate that here on the Japanese version, what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle this here, and on the right spot I'm going to turn around, turn the camera, hold down and roll jump, and land up here. This makes the roll slightly lenient, but it can be really awkward to turn around and learn how to do that, but it is also an alternative if you're having trouble buffering the roll, or you just don't want to buffer it but you want to try something different. Definitely give that a try. But moving on, straight to Deku Palace. Here in Deku Palace, we have two options to get past these guards. The first way is the casual way. Just walk up to them and talk to them and they'll go away. The second, faster option, though, is to stand about right here on this bridge, turn right, and side hop over them like so. Getting the right angle for this can be a little bit tricky. And you also have to learn exactly when to do the backflip like there. It's also not worth it to stand here and make a setup for it, so it's sort of one of those things you just kind of YOLO and go for, and if you miss, you just talk to them as normal. But if you can get used to that, it's actually pretty fast, and it's a really neat strat too. So let's try it one more time, like this, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, backflip over. Sometimes that happens, and that's fine, but in other words, if you miss and they don't go away, just talk to them and move on. Now, once you're actually in the Deku Palace here, the beginner route went to the left and went to go get Sonata. We're going to take a short detour instead. So we're going to go over here, grab some money, and then we need to avoid these guards. Like this. It's a little bit of RNG here because you can't really control what the guards do, but just hope that they give you a good pattern. And then over here, what we need to do is we need to do a gainer to get up to the Beans Grotto. So what you can do is you can go over in this corner. It's kind of hard to tell what you're doing here, but you can do a gainer in this corner, like so. And this corner is really awkward because to do a gainer, you actually have to like press left to do a backflip. Or more like down left, actually, rather than down, simply due to how the camera angle is. So this one can be really awkward to do, and you also have the option of doing the one like that with the C-up version if you're having difficulty. What you can also do is you can go over here to this side and do a gainer on this side. The problem with that is that you have the guard over there to deal with, so you have to make sure the guard is not about to catch you before you go over and try to do this one. But you can do it like this. If I can do it properly, please. This one's a little bit... I've never done this method before, so this is a little bit new to me. There we go. That also works. But then we want to drop into the Beans Grotto here. And we want to buy 5 magic beans. This is where we're going to buy our beans in this version of the route. Because we will not be coming back to Deku Palace. So buy 5 here. And then after the 5 beans, you want to leave the grotto. And then you have the option of either going for the 1-frame gainer here, or you can go over here into the corner and just do a simple backflip and push back toward the ledge, and you get a free gainer right here against that torch. The torch will kind of keep you in place. So you can just do like a backflip, press left again, and boom, you're up there. Drop into this hole here. Roll across. In this part, we just roll around. Avoid this guy, like so. And then backflip up here. Door frame jump. And then we can go straight to Sonata as usual. If you're fast enough, you can still make the fast cycle. Like this. Bam. There is a little bit of luck involved in this part right here, specifically this guard right here. Whether or not he moves quickly, this time he did not, but as long as you're fast, you can still make the cycle, like so. It's just a lot more difficult. If he moves early, you can cut the corner closer around him, and it makes it a little bit more lenient, but just to show that it is still possible, even if he doesn't move until you're like past him, like that. Now, the strats I just showed you were all for if you did not get a bomb drop in field earlier. If you did get a bomb drop, what you should do instead is take off Deku, pull the bomb halfway through the tunnel, grab the money, and then do a damage boost onto the fence here, and then you can side hop over and get to the Beans Grotto earlier without having to deal with the guard nonsense. When you get to this spot, immediately pull a bomb because you want the damage boost across this fence. This avoids the guard in the corner. And then you can just do your door frame setup as usual. And fly over to the Sonata platform. Like so. When you do this damage boost, what you want to do is you want to try to boost onto the very edge like that. Because that will cancel the little damage animation, and you'll be up here a little faster. And that gives you a little more leniency in making the Sonata cycle, as well as just, you know, being faster in general. It's kind of hard to get the right spot for that, but if you can get that, it's really fast. Da 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 da! There's one more route here for the Deku Palace that is faster by about 4 seconds, but it's more difficult and it requires bombs. So, if you got a bomb drop from field and you're feeling a little ballsy, go to this side, pull out a bomb, and you want to do a damage boost onto this fence here, like so. And then you can go up, up, jump across, and then get to Sonata platform from here. This also eliminates having to do the door frame jump, so it's sort of a toss-up between if you want to do the door frame jump or do you want to do that damage boost. And then you can get up here, and you get the Sonata first. Now, a few notes about this damage boost here. This damage boost is very precise. Depending on your position, it can be either 1 or 2 frames. So, what I'm going to do is, if I pull a bomb from right here, the position, if your position is good, then you have 2 frames to do it. But if you have a bad position, you only have 1 frame. But what I aim for is to stand right here on the edge of this dirt patch here, pull the bomb, and then do that. Now that was late. Try again. That was late on, no, actually early on the backflip, excuse me. Late on the boost, early on the backflip. There we go, I failed it again. It's very finicky, hard to do sometimes. So let me try again. It's usually better for me if I come in from the hallway like this, since I have kind of a muscle memory for it. There we go. That was pretty good. But it's very difficult to get used to, and I only recommend doing this if you're like really trying to grind for world record basically, or if you just really want whatever seconds you can get out of this. So like that. So that was a late one. That was the second framer that I had a awkward position for, but it works. After Sonata, go back towards the palace, because we're going to want to get beans now. Go back inside, pull the bomb about right here, grab the money that's here, and then damage boost. Up here, go get beans. Take some more damage. And then what we want to do is we want to go in up here, pull another bomb, and then buy magic beans. Mash through the text. Right. And then on this last bean, you'll die. Fast deathwarp back to the beginning. Put on Deku mask, and then leave the temple, or excuse me, leave the palace rather.